All right, here we go. Conflict resolution notes. So what is conflict? We need to know. It's when people disagree on an issue or can't get along well. It's natural for people to disagree, and that's okay. But because we all have different interests and values and goals and needs, and conflict can result in change, and often it is for the better. So conflict can be a good thing. Conflict happens in personal relationships with family, parents, caregivers, friends, partners, teachers, and work, people who you work with. Conflict also happens in wider society. So as we talked about, very common to happen based on different values, different religions, political parties, sporting teams even. Very common as well. It can also happen within yourself. When you learn something new that's different than what you previously thought, this can make you want to either hang on tightly to your old beliefs or can also lead you to change your beliefs. There's a lot of different consequences of conflict. They can be positive or negative. Conflict can get dangerous when people get aggressive and violent, but it can also bring about a greater understanding and learning of each other and their viewpoints, which is really, really important. So some negative outcomes of ignoring conflict or managing conflict badly could be having a lot of anger that you can't express and don't express. Problems not improving, it can be confusion, conflict can get worse, separation or family breakdown in a relationship, feeling resentful, stress, tension, and illness, aggression and violence, and poor relationships. So none of these things obviously are good, so we want to make sure that we can handle conflict in a positive way. The positive outcomes of dealing with conflict can be a sense of achievement, can be happiness, it can be a stronger relationship and teamwork, it can be learning more about others and yourself, relaxation, all leads to good health, positive changes, and overall feeling of positivity. It all depends on how it's handled. So you've already probably had some good work and have gained a lot of good skills with dealing in conflict, but we all can learn more skills to continue to be better at dealing with conflict and bring about more positive outcomes. So it's wise to deal with conflict if the issue is important and causing problems, but sometimes it might be a minor issue that you can just brush off. But if you're feeling unhappy about it, then you need to address it. So the most effective way to deal with conflict is to negotiate with the other person. Getting angry or aggressive only makes the situation worse. Much conflict can be resolved if we're positive and respectful of each other and work together in order to get it solved. So the most effective idea in solving conflict is the win-win approach. The win-win approach is where both people are satisfied with the outcome. It's finding out what you both want and where the areas that you can both agree on are, and then working towards those places. It's also about working together as partners, trying to solve the problem, not as opponents trying to win. It's also important to work together on a basis of mutual respect and trying to find a satisfying solution. So step number one, oftentimes what we need to do is we just need to cool off. If we have really high emotions, we just need to step away from the situation because it's not going to be productive in solving a problem. So take a step back, breathe deep, gain some emotional distance before trying to talk things out. When I take the time to breathe and regain my focus, I create the opportunity to choose my response rather than just react. If I skip this step, my words are too emotionally loaded. So we need to take that step and cool off. So just think for a minute in your head, what are some things that make you feel better when you are really stressed, when you're really angry? Think about a few of those things. Consider some of the following: breathing deeply while making a calming statement, looking at the sky, clearing your desk or straightening up, splashing cold water on your face, writing in a journal, taking a quick walk, and then coming back to talk about the program. About the problem. Any of these can be successful ways of cooling off so that you can come back. You've had your breather and now you can address the issues. Some people need physical release and some people just need something quiet to do in the meantime. It doesn't matter what it is, but whatever works best for you is what you should be using. And then once we have cooled off, we're ready for the next step, just to describe what's bothering you using those I messages. So remember, I messages are a tool for expressing how we feel without attacking or blaming. By starting with I would take that responsibility, we aren't putting it on someone else. You caused this. You're taking responsibility. Statement like, you left the kitchen a mess again, can't you ever clean up after yourself, will escalate conflict, whereas if you say, I'm annoyed because I thought we agreed that you would be cleaning up the kitchen, obviously, would be a better way to approach it. You're not putting them on the defense right away. When making I statements, it's important to avoid put-downs, guilt trips, sarcasm, or negative body language. We need to come from a place inside that's non-combative and willing to compromise. So we have to come with that feeling that we are going to compromise on this. It's not me against you. I'm not going to win. It is truly us working together. It's us against the problem, not us against each other. And then iMessages make it possible for us to do this. Step number 3 is to restate what you heard the other person saying. Reflective listening demonstrates that we care enough to hear the other person out rather than focusing on our own point of view. So we're taking that time to truly active listen. It actually fosters empathy as well, which is important so that you can understand where that person is coming from. Step 4 is huge. It's taking responsibility. In the majority of all conflicts, both parties have had some degree of responsibility. However, most of us tend to blame the other person instead of looking at us and inside and what did I do to cause this problem. When we take responsibility, we shift the conflict to an entirely different gear where resolution is possible. So taking responsibility is huge. Step number 5 is where we get to brainstorm those solutions to satisfy both people. So what can we do that's going to work for both of us, where we're both going to get what we need out of this relationship, out of this situation. So resolving conflicts is a creative act. There are a lot of solutions to a single problem. So it's just a matter of putting your heads together and coming up with something that will work for both people. And the key is a willingness to seek compromises. Okay? Step number 6 is affirm, forgive, or thank. This is also really important and also very hard to do. A handshake, hug, or kind word gives closure to the resolution of conflicts. Forgiveness is the highest form of closure. When you forgive someone, you're spared the dismal corrosion of bitterness and wounded pride. For both parties, forgiveness means the freedom again to be at peace inside their own skins and to be glad in each other's presence. So that's a very huge part of it. Just saying thank you at the end of a conflict or acknowledging the person for working things out sends a message of gratitude, obviously, but just that thank you for coming together. We can do this. In the future, we can remain a team and always come out on top, and a strong team at that. We preserve our relationships this way, strengthen our connections, and are able to work through other problems that arise as well. So think of your own life. Who are you in conflict with? Can you apply this system and make things more positive? If you could, just think about the impact that you can have on all of your relationships. Remember, peace starts with each of us, and sometimes we need to take the first step. As Gandhi once said, we must be the change we wish to see in others or in the world. So think about situations and think about how you can apply even just one of these steps in a situation that may be of conflict that you're in right now, and how it can make your world more positive, help you be a healthier person. So make sure that you have finished up those notes, make sure that you fill in all those blanks, and we'll be ready to go for class next time. Have a great night.